Here we go. All right, let me do that introduction again. For those just joining us, this is Rebecca Sullivan from Love Alaska and her coworker Adam. They're going to be sharing with us about internet safety. They're going to be leading the first half of the meeting, and then please stick around for the last half. We're going to be talking about some street team housekeeping, next event, et cetera, et cetera. And so if you cannot be available for the whole meeting, that's fine. Just plan on watching the video on YouTube. Allie, it looks like you're causing some problems there.
That's not me. It's Layla.
Okay, Layla, behave yourself.
Yeah,
And so I'm going to turn it over to Rebecca and Adam. And thanks for coming and sharing this important information with us today, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for letting us be here to talk about this. So Rebecca and I work for an organization that primarily works with survivors of human trafficking here in our state. And Rebecca's one of our lead case managers, so she gets to work directly with the survivors. But one of the things that we're seeing in our work is that a lot of trafficking now is starting online. And so we as an organization have really started to focus a lot on how in the world do you stay safe on the internet when there's people out there who don't want you to be safe on the internet. So would love to answer some of your questions at the end of this. So we're going to leave a little bit of time just kind of for some Q&A for Rebecca and I to answer any questions. You can leave those over in the chat and we'll get to those, or we can address them at the end. Let me just kind of start by telling you a little bit about what the internet and trafficking kind of have in common and why we think this is so important. Over 60% of all internet or of all human trafficking cases that were prosecuted in 2022 started on the internet. It started with a DM, started with a private message, started with a chat in maybe a gaming platform, something like that. And it's primarily like older predators who are looking at younger youth, vulnerable teens, that kind of stuff. And so for us as an organization that walks with survivors, we're trying to figure out how in the world do we do a better job of equipping all of you to understand that every person out there that slides into your DMs, every person out there that messages you doesn't have your best interest in mind. And so I'll start with a story that is just kind of, I think, paints how real this is. This was very early in our program. A girl who was here in Anchorage received a message on Instagram from a boy who was going to be going to her school. His family was moving to Anchorage over the summer. He didn't know anybody in town, and he was just trying to meet people. And he said that he went to Instagram and he searched people that were going to this high school, and she popped up. He had a profile that checked out. Like all of the photos looked right. Everything, like he looked real. And so after, like 100 messages back and forth, this guy doesn't seem like a stranger, right? He's just the kind of a normal friend. And she thinks they enter into a relationship, and some photos get shared back and forth. She makes some decisions that she regretted, because what happened is that what she thought was just like this relationship, he started to exploit her online. And basically, once she sent him inappropriate photos, he was like, okay, I know your dad works at this company. I know that this is the school you go to. And if you don't start doing these things, I'm going to release these photos there. And so this 16-year-old girl in Anchorage starts trying to protect herself. And she ended up being trafficked out of a local hotel completely by her phone. All through Instagram DMs. She never met her trafficker. When the FBI arrested him, it was actually the first time that she had ever even knew what he looked like. She thought that he was just some guy who was going to her school, but it was somebody who was looking to exploit her, because she didn't realize, again, that everybody online isn't who they say they are. And that's kind of what it looks like in today's world. A lot of trafficking starts like that. It starts with the DM. It starts with somebody who's chatting on a gaming platform. We're seeing that a whole bunch, especially through things like Twitch. And so the world that you all are growing up in looks way different than the world that I grew up in, or the world like that Rebecca or Matt grew up in. It's just like it's a different place. And so for us, our hope is just that you understand all of the good things that come with the internet, which most of it is very good. But just like be aware that not all of it is good. That there are people out there who would have not your best interest in mind and would want to exploit you. And one of the things I think that's really important, I'll never forget that that young girl who was trafficked, she was sharing her story. One of the things that she said was that she didn't know who she could go to. Like once, like the trap was set, once she realized how bad it was. She didn't know where to go. She felt like if she went to her parents, they'd be so disappointed in her. She felt like she couldn't go to any friends or any adults. Everyone would just be like, everyone would be mad at her or disappointed in her. And so she kept trying to fix it herself, and it just got worse and worse. And so having those people in your life that you can go to, having those adults in your life, those friends in your life that you can be honest about when we make decisions that maybe we're not proud of, that aren't in our best interest, is huge. And that was one of the things that she didn't have. And it led to just some really hard stuff for her. So a lot of people, when they think of human trafficking, they think of like a scary windowless van that pulls up, right? And just like grabs you. And I mean, that happens some places in the world, but most of what we're seeing is actually starting on the internet. It's starting through like platforms. It's through TikTok chat, it's through Instagram DMs. And so that's kind of what we're seeing. Rebecca, thoughts?
Making sure I'm not on mute. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, with that, it's just, after managing the U360 Club, I've talked to a lot of you. I've hung out with a lot of you. We're not saying that you guys are incapable or stupid or, just trying to talk to strangers. It's really a lot of the fact that sometimes the older generation and your parents don't understand that some of your main friends are online friends. But what we are asking is to just have a level of safety when it comes to understanding the difference between the online friends that you have met in person and can like legitimately know for sure that person is who they say they are, versus somebody who you've not met in person and cannot legitimately know for sure that person is who they say they are, when it comes to just your safety and well-being, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that there's some good tips on that. Just, going back to that girl's story. Again, all of the photos on his profile looked real because they were real. He took them from somebody else's profile. She said that she tried to video chat with him. I don't remember the number of times, but so many times, and there was always an issue. It's like, oh, my phone doesn't work, or the lighting's not good or something. And so there were just like all of these sort of red flags along the way that she just kind of missed, right? And so, yeah, just kind of know that not every person online is a good person. That also means that not every person online is a bad person. Just like Rebecca said, like so many of us, like a lot of our friends, a lot of our community are people online, right? They are people that we know. But it's important to make sure that you know who they really are.
And guys, one of the reasons why this topic was so important to talk to you guys about is, if you think about the way that story started, it starts with what we're actually asking you guys to do. If there's somebody that's new at your school or doesn't have connection, we're asking you to help connect them. And so it's even more important, like when you have that mindset, like, oh, I'm on the Thrive Street team, I'm helping connect students to other friends and other positive community, that you just be aware that there are these bad people out there who are trying to exploit you and trying to trick you. And so having some discretion, having some healthy cautiousness to make sure that people are genuinely who they say they are. And even if you can confirm that people are who they say they are, I strongly recommend that you never send inappropriate pictures to even people that you do know, because in addition to other complications, the fact that you are all under 18, that can be criminally prosecuted. And so just be aware that that's a bad thing to do, regardless of who it is and why. And So any other things, Adam and Rebecca, that you'd like to share?
Matt, I do just want to, I'm so glad you said that about the images, because we see that a lot, that it's like I was just sending an image to my boyfriend, or I was just sending an image to my girlfriend. But because of the under 18 age, like it is a criminal thing, especially, we know we see this all the time. I met with an agent last week who was going out to Bethel because a girl sent a photo to her boyfriend, and the boyfriend passed it around the school right after they broke up. And now all of a sudden, the boyfriend basically could potentially have federal charges coming against him for the distribution of child pornography. But for her, she was just sending a photo to her boyfriend. And so there are consequences beyond those actions, especially for minors. The other thing is that we just know from our work that those are the kind of things that can be used to exploit people. Right. Once that photo's out there, the internet is written in pen, not pencil. Like once something is put out there, whether it's a post, whether it's a photo, whatever, there's no getting it back. Like you can delete posts, but stuff exists forever. And so, like what you're putting out there, just know that like that's something that's written in pen. And are you posting or sending things that like you're okay with being tied to you forever? Because that's just kind of how the internet works. Like, honestly, like I'm 43 years old. I'm stoked that I did not grow up in a time when that was the case. Because it's so hard that everything you guys are doing now, will just kind of be out there forever. And so just be careful with that stuff, or cautious with that stuff. And yeah, if you have any questions specifically around like, what does this look like? What platforms or tips or anything? I mean, let us know. We're here to answer or help.
And
Yeah, and I
incidentally,
want to
guys,
leave lots of time.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say I want to leave lots of time for questions as well, but I would also just like to throw in that these bad people online, these predators, are looking for vulnerabilities, and they're really smart about how they use them, not only in just pretending to be your age and just making it seem like they're a peer, but also in just knowing the ways that you've been hurt in life and using those to kind of weasel their way in conversationally, whether that's knowing that you have a single mom, or knowing that maybe you're not super comfortable with your identity, or your family's not super comfortable with your identity, and just really working their way in to be that safe place for you so that they can flip that switch and then abuse you, basically. So just to be aware of those things that are not bad, or they don't make you a bad person at all, but those vulnerabilities that an adult could come in and use.
And I think that piggybacking on that, the importance of confidence in that. There's a trafficker here in Alaska that shared his story after going to prison. And he said he would walk around the Fifth Avenue Mall in Anchorage, and he would look for girls who were by themselves shopping. And he'd walk up to them and he'd pay them a compliment. He would say, "Hey, like that shirt looks amazing on you," or "I love the way that this brings out your eyes." And he said he watched for one of two things. He said if they looked him in the eye and said thank you, or like kind of made eye contact, like confidently, he would keep walking. He said that if they looked down or looked away, or like they maybe couldn't take the compliment, he said that he would keep pursuing them because he knew there was something so insecure in them that he would be able to exploit. And simple confidence in the way a person at the store or the mall or at school may come up to you is one of the biggest things that can help keep these kind of people away. I mean, that sounds so simple, but we hear that all the time.
That's a really good point there. I have been in Anchorage so many times, and I've seen that happen. And I don't think specifically it was trafficking, but it was like homeless man sitting in Fifth Avenue Mall. Maybe like be like, "Hey, lady, I like your hair," or he'd be like, "I like it." So he said somebody like, "I like your baby." So some woman passing by, and so that's a good thing to keep in mind because um, especially in like grocery stores, you see trafficking happening so much lately that they are looking for people who are alone and people who are distracted or out of their that they can't. It's vulnerable, is like what you said.
That's right, Allison. Thank you.
And guys, just to clarify something that Adam said, we all view you guys as teenagers, but legally, any inappropriate pictures under 18 is legally considered child pornography. And so just because we don't consider you children and you don't consider yourself a child, doesn't mean that in the eyes of the FBI, it's not considered a child pornography. And so that's just a legal definition. And so please don't get hung up on that, and just understand that until after 18, that's not a legal option that you have. And obviously even after that, like that use discretion. And we're not encouraging it before or after. We're discouraging it on both sides, but before it's illegal. And so we just want you guys to know that. Something else Adam said was, like, if you guys don't know who to turn to, you can talk to myself, you can talk to Rebecca, you can talk to Allison. If you need to turn to somebody, if you get into a situation where you don't know where to turn, I would recommend that you turn to the same gender that you are. And so guys, you can come to me. Ladies, you can go to Allison. We're here to help you. We're here to, we've all made decisions that in hindsight we regret. And so we're not here to judge you. We're here to help you and to walk with you in whatever situation that you get. And we want you guys to use wisdom and to think skeptically about anybody that's reaching out to you. So any other questions that you guys have for Adam and Rebecca?
How might someone who is in a trafficking situation, like a friend or family member, how would someone reach out to you guys for support?
Adam, I can't see anybody's faces, so if you're trying to jump in on a question, let me know. I think my internet's a bit slow. Thank you for asking that, Allison. So if you or a loved one are experiencing a trafficking situation, I think the easiest way to contact us and or get help, if you're in immediate danger, obviously, please always call 911. But if you're in more of a situation where you're not going to die within 24 hours and you're actually just kind of needing help to get walked through, I would recommend going to our website. It's pricelessalaska.org. I'll type it in the chat right now. And that one is for our trafficking survivors. But we also have a program. So we're Love Alaska, but we have two programs, and it's Priceless and Chosen. And Chosen is for youth like all of you who are kind of maybe at risk in some way or just needing some extra adult support, kind of in the same way Youth 360 and Thrive exists. But we would put you with two mentors that meet with you specifically. So I'll throw that in the chat as well. And that's more preventative than aftercare. But with the Priceless website, we do have a hotline that you can text, you can call, and we would walk you through kind of what that looked like. Unfortunately, we can't just bust through doors as much as I would like to and save people who are experiencing a trafficking situation. They have to be willing to come to us. So that is just my one caveat there.
Any other questions, guys?
What kind of platforms do you see human trafficking happening the most?
Yeah, it's such a good question. So it's changed over the last few years. We're seeing a lot with Twitch right now. A lot of people are using any gaming platform that has like open chat feature. Because when you're in a game, you're kind of focused on the game and you're sort of connecting with people just sort of on the side. And so it's easy for them to sort of build that relationship in a non-suspicious way. And so we're seeing a lot of stuff on Twitch. Instagram and TikTok are also huge. You know, with Instagram putting in like disappearing messages and stuff, it makes it easier. So those really are kind of the big ones I think that we're seeing. I will say though, like it changed all the time. The big ones like 3 years ago were Snapchat, which is still happening some, but not nearly as much. TikTok's kind of taken over that. So those are the big ones, but really Twitch and a lot of online gaming platforms. We even had one trafficking case here in Alaska that started through a game called Animal Jam. which like, if you look at the graphics for Animal Jam, like it looks like super young, like it's geared towards like younger kids.
Animal Jam was popular when I was in like 2nd grade.
That's exactly right.
Same.
Yeah. And so it's like this trafficker started talking on Animal Jam and then got this girl to move to Twitch because there was more chat features that they could exchange things there. And then eventually moved it even to like texting. So yeah, we see it all the way as young as Animal Jam up to all sorts of stuff. It's a great question though.
So essentially, wherever young kids are at and wherever young teens are at, that's where they're at. And I don't know how old Adam is, but I grew up in the 80s, and so we would have like a tin can that looked like this with a string attached to it, and that's what we were talking on. And so it is a very different world, and we want you guys to enjoy the benefits of this different world, but also to be safe. So guys, before Rebecca and Adam head off, I would like to invite you guys to all turn your cameras on if possible. And I want to do a screenshot of all of us today, because we used to do a thing called Thrive University, and we haven't been doing that for a while, but this is kind of like a resurgence of Thrive University with this session today. So if you guys all turn your cameras on real quick. Anybody else willing or able to? So, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Get one more. 1, 2, 3. All right, Adam and Rebecca, thank you guys very much for helping, not just educate us today, but thank you for what you guys are doing in the trenches with some very vulnerable people. We're very grateful that you guys are doing the work that you're doing, helping both restore Alaska and also prevent Alaska from being exploited. And so, guys, we're going to have additional partnerships and additional ways that we can help Love Alaska with their mission in the months and years to come. And so stay tuned for additional collaborations. And I believe Rebecca is scheduled to be with us at our youth retreat in August. So hopefully you will see her before then in the I Am Somebody Lounge at our events. But she will also be at our youth retreat in August 5th through the 8th. So thank you, Adam and Rebecca. Really appreciate you and the work you're doing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah.
You guys are
Thanks for
free to
having us.
stick around if you would like to. We're going to be talking about some housekeeping stuff for Street Team. If you need to head out, we completely understand. It's going to be relatively boring stuff. So thank you so much. So
Yeah, thank you.
I'm
I
gonna
think I'll
share-
bow out.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
Thank you.
So, guys, I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to talk through Thrive event expectations because, and what I want to share with you guys is that if these are the expectations for attendees, then do you guys think that our expectations for you guys are higher or lower?
Higher.
How many people vote higher?
Higher.
Throw it in the chat. What's your vote? Do you think our expectations for you is higher than regular attendees or lower? So if you said higher, you are correct, and you win a raffle ticket. So see me on March 2nd. I'll give you a raffle ticket. Exactly. My expectations, our expectations are higher. And it may surprise you to know that I had some event staff. First of all, if you guys are on Street Team and you get a light blue lanyard from myself or Allison, then all of my event staff know that you're on Street Team. And I had some event staff tell me that, now I know this wasn't everybody, but some of you are not setting the best example. Some of the things that were mentioned were throwing Gatorade bottles. There was some making out and some PDA from Street Team members. Like I mentioned, well, you guys didn't see that video. We're going to be sending you a video soon. And I want to warn you guys that our security staff are going to be carrying water guns. And if people are making out at Thrive events, our security staff will shoot them with water guns to cool them off. Okay. There was some rowdiness. Like I understand that riding on bleacher or riding on our carts is fun, but just understand that if you get like a finger between the cart and the wall, you could get some real damage. And so we want to be careful. We don't want to do things that are too rowdy or too dangerous because it might end up getting yourself or somebody else hurt. I also was, it was also reported to me that some street team members were running on bleachers. And so we absolutely want you guys to have fun at these events, but we definitely need you guys, as these things are growing more and more, we definitely need you guys to be a great example of higher expectations than what we're about to cover with these expectations and setting an example because from a cultural perspective, these events are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if we're not very intentional to guide the culture in a healthy direction, then we could start getting a lot of disrespect, a lot of rowdiness, people getting hurt. And then before you know it, the whole thing's a dumpster fire. So I know I can count on you guys to set a good example. And I just wanted to go over this with you. Our vision is a community of individuals thrive in an environment that supports healthy choices regarding substance use. Our values are acceptance, respect, kindness, resilience, growth, and connection. And so, first of all, Thrive Street Team need to be embodying those values at not just at our events, but outside of our events and in your homes and your schools. We want to be embodying these values. Can somebody tell me what it means to embody values?
To act upon.
Be an example of those values.
Yeah, being a living example. Good example. Sorry, I'm having some difficulties with my water thing. Whoa, somebody's writing down my stuff. Is that me? No, that was somebody else. All participants are expected to build and uphold a culture, an atmosphere of respect and consideration for others, treating people kindly, making them feel welcome, maintaining a positive attitude, cooperate with staff, volunteers, communicate any issues. So guys, that's your primary job as street team members, is helping create a positive, welcoming atmosphere. And the vast majority of the time, we all do that. We all do a great job of that. We don't bring backpacks to events. You can have small purses, but they're subject to search. No student is bullied, excluded, harassed. Guys, if you see this happening, obviously there's the expectation you guys are not doing this. If you guys see this happening, make sure you tell Tyler, myself, or Mason, or Allison. We want to make sure that we put a stop to any dangerous or negative behavior. I understand that bullying, fighting, disrespect will result in immediate dismissal from the event without a refund. Law enforcement or other schools may be contacted from serious infractions. Stay inside designated event area. I won't leave the event area. I understand I will not be allowed to return. I will listen to security staff, only one person in the bathroom at a time. Food is only in the cafeteria and bonfire areas. That's a new rule, by the way, that after Houston, we kind of trashed Houston's high school a little bit. And so we have to be more careful that we don't get food everywhere. Respect program supplies, building area. We're 100% responsible for any vandalism or misuse. Guys, this is another area that I want you helping me with. Obviously, Thrive is a substance abuse prevention program. Those using and potentially even selling drugs could use our events as a way of actually selling drugs. And so if you guys see anybody using cigarettes, vaping supplies, alcohol, illegal drugs, if you see them using or distributing, having, we have to know about that. And so please keep an eye out for it. If you hear about it, if you hear anything, please tell myself, Tyler, Mason, Allison. And then finally, I will not participate in PDA, public displays of affection. That means like kissing, making out, and violators will be shot with water guns. So, any questions about all of that? Iris, you're laughing about the water guns. I hope we don't have to shoot you. Any questions about that stuff, guys? So I just want to say that my experience with all of you has been very good. If anything, I think you got maybe just a little bit too rowdy. We want you guys having fun. We just want to make sure it's safe for everybody. And so please do your part to make sure that we're setting a good example. Some of the Amber, or AJ, you have a question?
Yeah, do you think you could send that paper to everyone in an email?
You mean everybody that attends the events or all of you?
All of like street team,
Absolutely.
or at least just me, because I would like to look at it.
That's a good point. Yeah. So, and we also just basically filmed that entire list into a video format that we can send both of those together.
Yeah, we're Julie, myself, Allison, Tyler just made right before our meeting. The reason we were like not letting you guys in yet was because we were making a video, not only covering the main points on this, but also covering event orientation. Iris, what's your puppy's name?
Her name's Polly, and I don't know why she's on the table now.
Because she's not reading the Thrive event attendee expectations.
She's been licking the table.
This is the kind of rowdy, out of control behavior we don't want to see. Dogs on tables, craziness. So I will send that to everybody. And we will also send everybody the new video that we made for expectations orientation. And if you guys could just help us be a positive presence, like if you see mildly bad behavior, try to steer it in the right direction. If you see majorly bad behavior, make sure myself, Allison, Tyler knows so that we can deal with it. Guys, our events have grown. Like last New Year's Eve, we were running around 150 people. We are now running over 700 people at the last event. And we don't have to get that far off track with 700 people for the train to end off way off the tracks. And so we need your help keeping the environment safe, welcoming. We want to make sure everybody has a really positive experience. Okay. So let me just cover some other changes that we're making as things grow. We're asking that no one under 18 be behind the hub unless authorized by hub staff. And that's nothing against you guys. It's just the hub is getting really, really crowded with all of the things that are going on in the hub now. And I would say that that's generally true for all of the event areas is like behind concessions, behind the hub is yes, you guys can help. Just make sure you have permission and make sure you have permission to be back there. We also want to keep the raffle drawing fair and to make sure you guys are still eligible for the drawing. We want no one under 18. And last time I asked Nick to give out tickets. And so this is a new thing. If you guys have done this in the past, you were asked to do it. But moving forward, nobody under 18 is going to give out raffle tickets. And no one over 18 is going to be able to win any of the prizes. And so the reason that we're asking for that is because we want you guys to be eligible to win. We have free lockers available now for adult volunteers. We want hub storage to only be for staff storage. And so we are also willing to give some free lockers as they're still available to street team. We just ask that you guys share those lockers so that they go as far as possible. We're not going to have an individual locker available for every street team member. And we're asking that you don't keep your stuff behind the hub again, because we just got too much stuff back there. And the lockers will physically be located in the photo booth area. We're going to have an expanded photo booth area at the next event, but you'll still get the keys at the hub, and then you go over to the photo booth area right next to the hub to actually get your locker. Okay, and what the lockers are is flip-top totes with a little lock on them. How will people be able to get raffle tickets? So the raffle tickets will come from staff, not street team, not teen volunteers. The raffle tickets will come from event staff and event volunteers. We're only going to bring raffle tickets. We're only going to bring the amount of raffle tickets that we're willing to give away that night, because now, like, if we give away 1,000 raffle tickets, that's the equivalent of giving away $500, because you have about a 50% chance of winning Plinko. And so every time somebody gets a raffle ticket, they can come play Plinko and they can automatically win a Thrive Buck. Now, because of that change, and because we're giving away a lot more Thrive Bucks, we're also going to start charging Thrive Bucks for, no, you cannot bring 500 tickets. So we're also going to charge Thrive Bucks for crazy hair, for face painting, for spin art, for UV painting, and hot dogs will still be free, but we're going to charge 1 Thrive Buck for every s'more. And the reason for that is we're already giving those things away, but we want those giveaways to come under this extra Thrive Bucks that we're giving away with Plinko. And so the overall experience is going to be more fun, but the expectation is then that you turn around and you give Thrive Bucks for the activities that we're charging for. Does that make sense? Are there any questions about that?
I just want to say, like, the Plinko idea is great. I love it, but it was kind of unorganized. People were like cutting the line. There was no like actual line. So that we need to find a way to like make that fair, and maybe not like a 20-minute wait.
So was there a 20-minute wait there?
No, I'm just thinking like it could end up like that. Like people are kind of just like shoving to the front, filling out their ticket. But if like we had like an actual line, like 3 sessions, that might take forever, and no one's gonna wait that long.
Okay.
What if
So
we got
I
2
ordered
Plinko
more of
awards?
those. I ordered more of those blue candle cone thingies and more chain. And a lot of that's going to be used at check-in at the beginning of the night, but then we can move that to we're going to be able to move that to different areas that need it. And so that's a great idea and a great observation, Julie. And so we'll make sure that we have I'm actually working on mapping out the new hub right now. And so I'll make sure that I add a chained off section for the Plinko line. And then we'll recommend people, like, if the line's too long, just bring your raffle tickets back when the line gets shorter. Any other questions about that? Do you guys understand the idea? Like, okay, let me just clarify this. We used to give away about $500 of Thrive Fives, Thrive Cash. The last event we gave away $1,200 of Thrive Bucks. Okay. And so because of Plinko, because we're giving away so much more with Plinko, love the makeup job there, Iris. Because of giving away so much more with the Plinko game, then we want to recoup some of that with spin art, face painting, crazy hair, and s'mores. The other thing that this is allowing us to do is to keep track of how much of those things that we're doing every time, because it's really hard with these big events to track how much bonfire supplies actually get used. And if you can imagine, like from the early days, we used to keep all the hot chocolate and all of the s'mores in one of those black totes. And now we have to bring so much hot chocolate, so much s'mores, that it takes 3 totes and we still run out. And so moving from 150 people to over 700 people, we're just going through a lot more stuff. So any questions about that stuff? No problem about having to leave. Just watch the last 15 minutes of the meeting once we post it on YouTube. Hot chocolate and hot dogs are still free at this point. the s'mores will be 1 Thrive Buck. And if you have regular cash and you need Thrive Bucks, you can go to the hub to get Thrive Bucks exchanged. So any other questions that you guys have about that stuff? So for check-in, I want you guys to remember to look for, we're gonna have a sign that says Fast Pass. Most of the check-in lines are gonna be the same. And then the Fast Pass line is gonna be for VIP tickets, street team, volunteers, etc. And so look for the Fast Pass line where Allison and Carrie are set up. And you guys go through the Fast Pass line when you guys get there on March 2nd. How is everybody doing? Do you have your flyers, and are you putting your flyers up?
Yes,
I
I
have
am
a
putting
couple
them
that
up.
responded that did.
Yeah, I
I'll
got
be
'em
putting
and they're
my
going up.
flyers up tomorrow.
I want to brag on Haley. We got a picture from her today with a flyer up. Good job, Haley. Allison, who else have we gotten pictures from?
I've gotten pictures from Amber, Julie, and Toby.
So guys, it's as part of your street team accountability, I want you to do a selfie with your flyers. And if you don't happen to have a phone yet, just borrow your mom's phone. You could even put up a flyer at Fred Meyer and borrow your mom's phone, do a selfie there. My 6th grader doesn't have a phone. Some of you are in 6th grade, so I get that. Amber, do you have a question?
Yeah, well, more of a comment. So I was able to hang around the not the hub, it's like the snack area a little bit, and I noticed that they were having really hard time with getting the attention of people who paid for their food or who was
Yeah.
waiting in line because the line kept getting really backed up and jumbled along. So I was
Right.
wondering, this is something that a few people recommended and spoke about. It was like getting a microphone
So let me
to
absolutely. Let me share with you what we're doing about the concessions. First of all, we've continued to make improvements with concessions, but the growth continues to outpace our improvements. Secondly, we've wanted to rent the kitchen at the schools for quite a while, but we've had a hard time getting the 3 custodians that we need. Now that we have the 3 custodians that we need, we are starting to rent the kitchen, and we have to have kitchen staff for that, which is why we waited. So at Palmer Junior Middle School, we're going to rent the kitchen. And what that's going to give us is, instead of preparing all the pizza in the microwave and all of the pretzels in the microwave, the microwave is only going to be used for popcorn. We're going to have 4 convection ovens to make pretzels. We're going to have 2 giant warmers that are like tall as me. And we're going to order pizza and have it delivered and have stacks and stacks of pizza, and we'll be selling the pizza by the slice. And so we're hoping to have a lot of food ready right when people order it. We're hoping that the line goes faster and that we're able to, because people have been waiting 30 minutes in order to order a microwave pizza and then waiting 45 minutes for a microwave pizza. And that's kind of ridiculous because microwave pizza is pretty gross. And so we're not gonna have that nonsense anymore. It should be a lot better. Now, Amber, to comment on your specific suggestion of the sound system, our goal is to soon get another pair of speakers like we have in main stage. One of those speakers would be used at the hub. One of those speakers would be used at Sport Court. And then the Passport PA, smaller PA that the hub uses would go to concessions, so that if there is a situation where people are still waiting for orders and stuff, the concessions would have a PA to be able to use for orders. And so I'm waiting for some money from MTA to be able to buy those new speakers, but we absolutely want to do that and agree wholeheartedly with your assessment of the problems and solutions. We do have a way to keeping the pizza warm. We have 2 warmers that are as tall as me. And so when that pizza comes in at 5 o'clock, the pizza is going to go into the warmers. And then we're gonna have another batch of pizza delivered like around 7:30 or so. And we hope to sell out of all the pizza so that we don't have any left. And then that's gonna give us more freezer space for pretzels and ice cream. Because the last event we had, we sold out of everything. Haley, do you have a question?
So if there is leftover pizza, what would you do with it?
I would sell it at full price so we don't lose any money. My goal is to sell out. If we have some left, we will probably send it home with some concession staff and concession volunteers. But my goal is to sell out. I'm assuming that Joel means Allie. So Allie, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you, I'm not gonna be able to be there on March 2nd because I'm leaving earlier for spring break. But I
How
can
dare
still.
you? You're breaking my heart, Allie. No, that's okay. That's okay.
Sorry, me too.
We're not expecting everybody to be there at every event. Allie, we will definitely miss you. We all love you having you there, but we understand that you can't be at every single event, and so that's fine. We encourage you guys to be at as many events as possible, but we don't expect you to be at every single one.
Yeah, I'm coming to the Night to Shine this Friday, but I just can't go on the 2nd.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for helping with Night to Shine. On that note, Allison, do you have anything to add about Night to Shine?
So it's not too late to sign up, I don't think. If you are interested, it's going to be tomorrow. Volunteers are to arrive at 5 p.m. I don't believe most of you will be driving, so you could just be dropped off. If you are driving, they have this whole transfer bus thing and volunteer parking. But if you have already signed up, I'm going to send you a little screenshot of this flyer that Amy from Night to Shine gave me. If I haven't already sent it out to you, it just explains, arrival time, and you guys do get pizza before the event starts. So yeah.
Iris, to answer your question, I am Batman, so I can confirm that. For those helping with Night to Shine, I appreciate that. I'm not going to be there. My van will be there. That's exciting, but I'm not going to be there. Allison will be leading that event, that service project, and she will be guiding you guys into how to set up, how to do your job. And so I really appreciate you guys stepping up and helping our community with this. Allison, is there anything else you want to mention as far as the promotion or registration for 8-Bit Bash?
Yes, I do. So with registration, we added a new thing because I know a lot of you guys are bringing friends to volunteer, and that's perfect. But one thing we're additionally doing now is we're going to ask for them to reserve a ticket. Their ticket's still going to be free, but they're going to use the code word volunteer. And this is for all students under 18 that were coming to volunteer. So just tell them to sign up similar to how normal people sign up, and just make sure that they use the code word volunteer when they sign up. And also to let me know so I can add them to the proper list.
Even to answer your question, we're wrapping up the meeting, and Iris is making dinner for all of us. So just to piggyback on what Allison just said, student volunteers are still welcome, and they will be free. We just have a specific new process, and so just RSVP, tell Allison that you want to volunteer, and we will move forward with that. Well, with that new what that new process looks like. So Allison, do you have anything else? Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying, I believe that we're not asking street team to reserve tickets though. Yeah, so
Correct.
it's just gonna be if you're bringing friends that are volunteering.
Correct. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Street team is still over and above what we're doing, guys, is we're capping student attendance at 500. You guys are, because our expectations are higher, you guys are higher than that 500 cap. So you guys are over and above the 500 limit. And so we're going to limit attendance, youth attendance to 500. When we add street team, volunteer, staff, that's why we ended up with an attendance of 721 last time. And our attendance is going to continue to fluctuate like around 700, 750, even though we're capping student attendance at 500. So that's all I have. Allison, do you have anything else? Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so I haven't registered before for street team. Well, I have registered for street team. I'm meaning like reserved a ticket for the events. How would I do that?
So yeah, when you just sign up, all you just gotta do is say RSVP, name, age, and I'll get everybody on the street team's on the list. When you RSVP, I just highlight your name.
When you text the word, all you have to do is text the word Saturday for this event to our RSVP number, and then Allison already knows your number. She already knows who you are, and then she just says, "Okay, you're gonna go." You don't have to get a ticket. We have waivers for all of you, and so that's all you have to do is tell us you're coming.
And if you don't have a waiver, I'll bug you about it.
Angel, I can stick around to answer any questions you have or whatever you want to talk about. I'm available right after this meeting. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, Emerson, go ahead, sir.
Oh, what time does the event tomorrow start?
Night to
Night
shine.
to Shine starts at 6. They start to arrive at 5:45, so they want you there at 5 p.m.
And Allison, is that early enough for your setup needs if they get there at 5?
I could probably set up I'm gonna get there earlier and set up most of the stuff, and hopefully that there's other additional volunteers that are already setting stuff up that'll help me. But yeah, afterwards too, the crowning starts at 8, so we'll likely be cleaning up and starting to pack up at 8, so we can all leave at 8:30.
Julie, do you have a question?
Yeah, this might seem silly, but what should we like wear to the event tomorrow?
Yeah, that's another thing on there. It says that it's a great question though. They are suggesting that you guys dress up in a formal wear, but you don't have to think too much about it. So I'm just, in my mind, do not wear like ripped jeans or like graphic t-shirts. Just something nice that you feel comfortable in, and looks professional.
And Allison, do they have the volunteers they need for the costumes, or will some of them need to wear costumes?
Yeah, so there's a lady that's specifically like going to help put the costumes on, but I believe it's going to be a mixture of our group and Colony's JROTC.
So if you could wear something that looks nice, but also is something you could wear under a costume, that would be helpful. Like not wear your antebellum big puffy dresses. So, any other questions, guys? All right. Well, listen, Iris, question. What do you got?
Okay, I kind of forgot about this, but for the concessions, Thrive isn't so under 18. You weren't allowed to go in the back of concessions anymore. Or
No,
help out?
it just means that you have to have permission from it. We definitely want your help in the hub and concessions. We just want you to have clear permission to be back there at that time. Just blue lanyard means staff. So if you're trying to go back to the hub, ask for the blue lanyard. You know, whoever's wearing a blue lanyard, just say, "Hey, do I have your permission to come back here?" If you're helping with concessions, ask for permission, because we just want to keep we just don't want a whole bunch of people under 18 back there. And so you're still welcome to help. Just make sure you have permission. And
You want to
some of the things that have taken place at the hub are going to be moving to an expanded photo booth section. So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap up our meeting. I really appreciate all of you. Please get your flyers up right away. We are less than a month away from the event right now. And so get your flyers up right away, send the pictures, send the selfies to Allison so that we can give you credit for getting those flyers up. Make sure you keep your dogs off the table. And I will see you guys all next time. Angel, I can stick around and talk afterward.